All the details for update 2.7 are now here. Maintenance will begin at these times and last for approximately 8 hours, but could end a bit earlier. There will be an ongoing event from April the 24th to April the 30th where we will have the Loot Goblin Festival. This will allow us to get some pretty good bonus rewards. This update also brings a whole lot of improvements here with the UI, bug fixes, and even them finally adding the Cloak of the Frozen Expanse to the crafter. This is literally the best cloak you can use as a damage dealer and healer, particularly for the skill damage boost. Very importantly, they've also made a whole bunch of combat adjustments here too, including finally fixing Cleaving Moonlight. So let's go through everything you should know for update on April the 24th. We begin with again the Loot Goblin Festival event. I did show earlier how the event will play out here on the Korean server, and they do have a bit more details in terms of the actual drops you'll be getting, including loyalty coins, tier 2 equipment, nebula bags, growth stones, crystals, and unfortunately our own patch notes is not very extensive, but there will be normal golden goblins and golden goblin chiefs, and they will spawn randomly throughout the world, including the Talandra area. A system message will appear when the goblins spawn, so you can keep an eye out for that. And as per the Tico talks, they did say they would spawn every 3 hours, but on the Korean server they say they'd spawn every hour between these times for about 15 minutes, 8 times a day. So not fully sure how the structure will be for us, but again, some pretty useful rewards, and it's not based on a tagging system. You just have to hit the goblin once, and up to 30 people can get the loot from the standard goblins, and up to 100 people can get it from the captains. When you do kill a captain, you can get a chest that gives you up to 1,000,000 solent, 5 loyalty coins, a title, a chance at some equipment or a nebula bag, or a playful morph. If you kill the normal golden goblins, they'll give you also like 50,000 solent, and then a chance to give you like armor growth stones, jewelry growth stones, crystals, or even some runes with extra solent too. And another chance to give you like 5 of those growth stones, adventure coins, conversion stones, again the title and equipment. We'll have to see what actually differs for us here in Global. But looking at the general updates, just some UI adjustments, moving the rewards to the top of the lists rather than having them at the bottom, and fixing the Grey Eye Greatsword. It will now properly say 16 base damage instead of 16%. The description's still not fixed here on Korea though. If you're missing the roast honey apple, this will be back on the menu. They made some fixes to these fashion pizzas, and yes, added the Cloak of a Frozen Expanse to the armor crafter. This should be for 90 snowflowers. Be aware, 180 of those does get you the Della's Noah weapons. However, looking on EU prices, you should be able to then get the cloak and craft it for about 30,000 lucent, until people skyrocket the price of snowflowers. And otherwise you can get these farming them yourself. They're not so easy to get, as they're through gathering those snowflowers during the Pacific Dynamic event. We just need the devs to break the drop rate and make it 100%. Currently it's like a 1% from, I believe, the event snowflowers, but some of them say here 0.2%. And it says from Della's Noah it's 100%, but you don't always get one. But ultimately, it's probably going to be cheaper to buy the snowflowers than actually buying the cloak, which generally costs like anywhere from 50,000 lucent. Currently on the EU market, there's only 2 available, and the cheapest at 41,000. Definitely a cloak I want to get, but I wouldn't pay so much for it, but it should get cheaper in price with people being able to now craft it, and at least a bit more accessible. Again, over 113 skill damage boost is in the ballpark of like 11% damage gain, but if you have more skill damage boost that does diminish, you can see a quick table here. So if you have like 300 already and you're going to 400, that's only like a 5.5% increase. But in PvP, when you're facing enemies who have skill damage resistance, you're basically taking your your skill damage boost, minusing their skill damage resistance from yours. So if you have the same amount, then getting an increase of 100 above theirs is again like over a 9% damage gain, and with this cloak it would be nearly over 10%. So it really can be very impactful and a huge damage boost for both PvP and PvE. You even get added hit chance with this thing and attack speed. Then there was just some localization fixes here and performance fixes in the Doomrock Grove. Then your combat adjustments. Thankfully, they finally fixed Cleaving Moonlight. It will no longer have such a tiny cast distance and is back to 4 meters. Shadow Strike, there was an issue which prevented your shadowy escape spec, so you couldn't teleport back. Should be fixed now. And the Sword and Shield with Piercing Strike, there was an issue where, yes, you could essentially gain like infinite shield strikes when counter barrier was up, but that's been fixed now too. And Crossbow's Mother Nature's Protest now specifies that the mana cost cannot actually be reduced by mana cost efficiency, so that's intended. Sword and Shield affixed to your Annihilation Blade, and the Greatsword's Cold Warrior, they adjusted it so that the skill description states hit chance rather than heavy attack chance. On the wand, your Warrior's Gambit now states that it's a 25% boost of the healing, and with the wand Warrior's Gambit, they adjusted the tooltip to state that it's a 25% increase of what the healing would be and not just a flat 25% damage boost. And the daggers, your Camouflage Cloak, now states that when you attack, you get put out of the camouflage, out of stealth, rather than it saying when you are attacked. But it actually works in both cases. If you're attacked while within the Camouflage Cloak, you also get knocked out. And people can do that with like AoE CC abilities. But that's everything for the update. Again, not sure how impactful this Goblin event will be. There'll probably be so many people that you'll barely get a hit in. But even if you get a hit in, you should still have a chance to get your rewards here, as long as you're not over, say, the cap of the amount of people that can get the reward. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and yes, the devs did just announce a new transmog system. I did go over it in more detail in just my previous video if you want to watch that.